Now, very interestingly, you're saying that there is a plan and the plan gets very democratic way it is built. And then once it is built, that is the boss. Amazing.
From the times of Niti, FMCG and supply chain became my core personally. Obviously, I think Niti teach you supply chain and operations very well. And I think there is a background of Niti. Put courage into my endeavor and always take that leap of faith in myself versus anything else.
So the message, in a one line, you have to give a message to these budding entrepreneurs or people.
The second kind of entrepreneurs are broad the cost disruptors. हर कोई कर रहा है, आप इसमें कैसे जीतोगे? So from the starting point of no is there, आप अकेले क्यों it is against the tide, and then it was a tide. So then the questions were like, इतना tide है, Reliance भी यही कर रहा है, Big Basket, Tata भी यही कर रहा है, आप भी. So we were always excited about something very sizable in nature, and hence we started ShopKirana.
We have on our conversation today with Mr. Deepak Dhanotiya. He is an engineer from SGS ITS Indore, and he has done his engineering in production engineering. He is also GATE rank 1 in production engineering. He has done MBA from DT Supply in supply chain. He was my batchmate, and he is one of the co-founder of a well-known company today, ShopKirana. So let's begin with our first question to you, Deepak. Where all it started? What is the seed of starting ShopKirana?
So obviously, I will take it back to maybe the Niti time. I always have been a person who put courage into my endeavor and always take that leap of faith in myself versus anything else. And always had this thought to disrupt something using supply chain at a very large. But from the times of Niti, FMCG and supply chain became my core personally. So I thought, let us stick around my core. If I have some large problem which I can solve and take as a challenge for myself. So during the days of Niti only, I think I started thinking around this as a thought. Met a couple of people there also. I made a lot of founders outside my Niti curriculum to really understand in what all areas I can work on. But from the times of Niti, FMCG and supply chain became my core personally. That the brands in India were also struggling, especially in their go-to-market and supply chain. Personally speaking, it is very long way and it's a connected the dots for me. My father operated a very small Kirana store in this country, into interiors of India. And able to see his hustle and not able to connect a lot of brands and manufacturers. At the same time, when I spent my time at P&G, I was seeing the same problem they were also facing in terms to market, reaching to this large base of Kirana stores in India. And that was broadly connected dot moment for me to really think through a solution which can connect people like my father to companies like P&G where I work. And hence, I left P&G to start this with two more co-founders. One joined P&G itself, which is Sumit Power. So he was doing go-to-market with me in P&G. So we shared this problem together and thought to live together from P&G to solve this problem. And then Dhanotiya was already doing some stuff in the space, and he joined us. And together, then we took this mission of empowering retailers, solving this problem.
Very nice.
So tell us, speaking a little bit about what was the industry landscape at that time, because I think that was the time when e-commerce was also coming into play, right? It was catching up, and mom and pop was suddenly thinking कि Kirana stores का future क्या होगा. So what was the industry landscape overall when you seeded this idea?
So broadly, obviously e-commerce rates were evolving way back in 2014 when we were setting this idea. So broadly, business go through 3 cycles, which is it needed, is it possible, or feasible, and then is it profitable. So e-commerce was having different challenges, that is it needed and to whom it is needed, and early stage revolution. Then modern trade was figuring out is it feasible and profitable actually. So what size of stores are right size of stores? What is the range or the units we should keep? What will make it profitable? How we make the stores so that they become feasible and part of the urban economy, and all of these problems they have solved. But considering the entire pile, everything was contributing only 90% of Indian grocery waste. So we thought this remaining like 10% is e-commerce plus modern trade, and 90% is still very traditional in India. And then we plotted the trajectory that even the e-commerce is growing by double-digit CAGR, and modern trade is also growing double-digit CAGR at that point in time. Still, this entire size of 90% is very, very large. And back in 2014, it was $500 billion industry. Then today, it is already $1 trillion plus industry in India retail space. But if we see this incremental 500 billion, which has come in last 7 years, if we see the 90% of this 500 billion, which is 400 billion growth has come from traditional Kirana. So we were always excited about something very sizable in nature, and hence we started ShopKirana. And this size was our biggest excitement together as a founder group.
So very interestingly, when you speak about Kirana and the name of the company itself is ShopKirana. So I'm very curious why the name and the ShopKirana, and what it means to you then and what it means to you today.
So obviously the company was always thought to empower Kirana stores, and followed by bringing technology, supply chain, and scale to the Kirana stores. When I met Tejas, he was already doing some experiment with the pilot name ShopKirana. So I like two things in our conversation. One is Tejas himself as a person, and second is the name ShopKirana. But obviously ShopKirana is a name, I think, which was so in India broadly, when we talk about a lot of brands, two popular names, if you combine it and make a name, they become very handy, like Fair and Lovely kind of thing, Surf Excel kind of things, Clean and Clear the brands. So many brands are built on two simple names which are popular. Merge them and make a name which become very easy on your terms and on your day-to-day things. So Shop was a very popular word. Kirana was also very popular word, and then a new became ShopKirana became easy to pronounce and use on a day-to-day.
Because now I see this transforming into something else, or is it still called ShopKirana? It is direct.
Obviously, it has evolved over a period of time. So I think last year we changed or rebranded our front-end brand to Direct. And so ShopKirana was evolving as a company. And one big thing that has happened over a period of time. So earlier we were just a very small company trying to connect the retailers on a platform. Over a period of time, brands also joined hands with us. And then it was a lot of repositioning exercise. Then first, the name should be neutral. So Direct was very neutral name on table, because when we were evolving, we were having a lot of discussions around sometimes we need to do cross category business also. Like retailer was the focus, not the Kirana or ShopKirana, but everyone thought we are just a Kirana company. So we wanted to make it very neutral. Number two is Direct was a world where the technology perception was coming much better than today. In a technology world, what we were trying to do was connect two people, bring them on a single platform. They can connect directly with each other. And I'll tell you one incident where it was translated from a marketing problem to our rebranding initiative. So I was in market and I was discussing with one of the retailer, and I told him कि आप हमारे प्लेटफॉर्म से क्यों खरीदते नहीं हो, and he told me कि सर हम तो डायरेक्ट खरीदते हैं.
Oh, nice, very nice.
And I thought, यार बॉस डायरेक्ट तो मैं मतलब सी आई एम द प्लेटफॉर्म, आई एम कनेक्टिंग यू डायरेक्टली विद यूनिलीवर पीएनजी, सो डायरेक्ट तो हम हैं, बट वो जो ट्रेडिशनल करता है, जो उसके डिस्ट्रीब्यूटर से या कंपनी का लड़का कोई आता है उससे खरीदता है, उसको लगता है कि यार ये जो डिजिटल कंपनियां ये तो मिडिल मैन है, मैं डायरेक्ट खरीदता हूँ. And then I thought, no, we should rebrand, and he should think we are direct, and whatever he is doing is through a middleman. The entire initiative, then we went back to our whiteboard and thought we should rebrand and reposition ourselves.
Amazing. I'm really, smiling ears to ears to hear this, because it is like a true transformation, that a real insight into a real problem, and how you transformed it to a total rebranding. I think a lot of big companies need to learn from examples like this. So brilliant.
Absolutely brilliant. Deepak, when you started this off, was there any competition in this field? And how has the competition evolved till now? If you can just throw a bit of light on that.
I think that is the most beautiful evolution that has happened. So we have seen that journey. People like Super Stops were evolving, Bharti Retail was evolving, and the DMart was coming. So there was a lot of excitement in modern trade and e-commerce, because Flipkart abhi just scale journey start ho gaya tha 2012 ke baad. Amazon entered India around it, like 2010, and from 2011 they were also aggressive. So everyone was excited about e-commerce and modern trade. When we started, we were one of the maybe the only first company to do India B2B commerce in India. Way back in 2014 we started this company. When we started, there was no competition, and because no one was doing B2B commerce in India. So the first set of question when we were meeting a lot of people, investors, like, सब उधर भाग रहे हैं, आप क्या कर रहे हो? Because there is no competition, no one is doing it, so you are going against the tide. There is no future of Kirana stores in India. Then there came a time like there came a lot of competition, like everyone wanted to do this Kirana tech as a space. So I can name 20-25 companies in last 4 years, especially 2017 से 20 के बीच many companies थे, स्पेशली जब कोविड हुआ तो और किराना टेक, बिकॉज बहुत प्रॉब्लम में गया, मॉडर्न ट्रेड पे फुटफॉल खत्म हो गए, तो किराना टेक पे बहुत काम हुआ. फ्रंट एंड किराना टेक, मिड माइज किराना टेक, मतलब ऑपरेटिंग किराना, ऑपरेटिंग टेक या प्रोक्योरमेंट टेक्नोलॉजीज. तो पीपल लाइक उड़ान टू Jumbotail to now Reliance is doing Jio B2B, they were doing Flipkart and Walmart joined hand to do Flipkart wholesale business. Then Metro was there. So and many people came into this as a space. Even Khata book kind of people who are doing accounting solution, Pagar who came into the accounting solution for Kirana stores. Many people. हर कोई कर रहा है, आप इसमें कैसे जीतोगे? So from the starting point of no one is there, आप अकेले क्यों is against the tide, and then it was a tide. So then the questions were like, इतना tide है, Reliance भी यही कर रहा है, Big Basket, Tata भी यही कर रहा है, आप भी, तो आप कैसे जीत? Then because they were not having earning, हम 2014 इसको कर रहे, तो we have a lot of depth and we were knowing a lot of nuances and economics of this business. So we had a lot of strength. When these people started with a lot of excitement, because size was big, so everyone was very excited to scale this business very fast, which was not our purpose, because we knew that it is very sizable business. If we make mistakes, the size of mistakes will be also very large. But a lot of people came into the business and failed miserably, because the way they approached this industry was very different and very uneconomical in terms of their. So they started failing. In last 2 years, Kirana Tech has seen many failures. Most of them are no more there. There's a third set of question now in front of us is like, कोई भी नहीं कर पाया तो आप कैसे करोगे?
Interesting.
Yeah.
So there's a basically जो evaluation है वो मतलब we have seen all of that.
So from क्यों कर रहे हैं to being first movers and everybody followed suit and failed, and now the same question is coming back to you, that how will you differentiate?
Yes, yes. Now I am answering उड़ान. पहले मैं सोच रहा था कि कोई नहीं है, फिर उड़ान इतना बड़ा आ गया तो आप कैसे करोगे? अब मैं बस ये सवाल का जवाब देना पड़ता है कि उड़ान नहीं कर पाया तो आप कैसे करोगे? But now I think we have to live with it.
Yeah. Interestingly, इसमें Deepak, there's a lot of role of co-founders that you've also spoken earlier, that there are two co-founders that came along with you. So if we can spend some more time on, talking about them individually a little bit more, from which background they have come and what roles are they doing and what value they are bringing to ShopKirana. Because this is also a very important question for a lot of people, that initial team and the co-founding team is very, very critical to success of any, and some people say that it is even bigger than the idea itself. So if you can, and I see a lot of activity on LinkedIn, on other platforms from all three of you. So a very good synergy which is visible to the outside world and truly reflection of what you have built so far. So if you can throw some light there, talking about individually the other two co-founders as well, and what role do they play?
Very important, obviously. So day zero, we were not very sticky on those. Obviously, we wanted to be comfort to each other, and we pushed each other to learn everything. So all of us have done different roles. And while I might taking technology sometime, the other person is doing operations sometime, and we swipe the role so that we understand every part of business when we are taking the decision actually. So I think that it's a very different journey in ShopKirana versus all other people as an approach they will. But talking about our chemistry, I think we are three different personalities, but we have a lot of sync in terms of the entire vision and where we want to deliver. So we have thought like over a period of time as an entrepreneur, we will keep innovating and we will have a lot of ideas. So let us put a structure in place. So we approach that, let us make plans and let our plan become our boss over a period of time. So we can fight our making a good plan. But once plan is reached, I think then it is our boss. So all of us has to deliver and report our plan. So that is an approach we take, and every 3 months we fight it, align on a plan, and then we try to deliver to our plan. And because there is no boss in the startup, so you have to make someone the boss. So it is like the freezed and aligned plan is our boss, and we have to deliver to it. Otherwise, we will start taking liberties with each other, and then sometimes we get a lot of new ideas, and then we try company to the immediate idea that would have come to us versus the plan we were executing. In terms of their strength, so Sumit take care of a lot of external world, especially on the financial controls and fundraising. So we take care of entire accounting, financial control, and a lot of brand relations also, because brand as a customer is one area that we have to take care of. He is the person who has to arrange a lot of financial resources and also ensure that we are managing them well, responsibly, and are answerable to our investor partners, financial partners. And Tejas come with a totally different background. He is a person of lot, and he is a person who can do a lot of marketing, growth, like seen across different forums that he is presenting himself to. And he is the person who has to take care of our presence into the especially from the marketing side. We take care of the things from either we are marketing for our employees, or we are marketing for our potential investors, or we are marketing ourselves as a company into the startup world, followed by the entire growth plan and front-end DSLD. As I was a person of supply chain and operations, so I thought I will be in the center of the things and taking care of especially the cost and service nuances. And that was my strength area. Obviously, really make a lot of processes, technology, supply chain, and ensure that we are delivering one of the best service while controlling a lot of cost angles into it. And over a period of time, I think we changed the roles also to understand so that we make decisions in a way versus from they just cannot think from only the front end angle and keep taking choice. And I just think from a cost and service and supply chain perspective. So no, I think many times I have done the business leadership roles or growth leadership roles also in between. They just or somebody would have done operation or warehouse handling roles in between. That we have done to have some leadership at top.
So again, a very good learning. So that's why I was very excited to pitch in between. Very good learning because a very different model of approach, which even today in very big organizations is not followed. It is more hierarchical driven and there is a boss. Now, very interestingly, you're saying that there is a plan and the plan gets very democratic way it is built, and then once it is built, that is the boss. Amazing. Second thing, just a highlight moment I wanted to ask you is that in between there was a moment where you guys also interacted with PM Modi. Yeah, Narendra Modi. So I just want that moment to relive with you. That how did that happen, and what was the feeling of you, all three of you, as well as the entire team of ShopKirana and Direct?
Yes, obviously across all the moments, obviously there was very one of the high times in terms of our PR especially, and also getting recognition and talking to PM Modi is always special in this country now. So the reason was obviously because we were coming from Central India as one of the biggest startup coming from tier. Number two is the impact in industry. So Kirana is an industry which is second biggest employer in India after the agriculture, because almost 10 million plus Kirana stores, every Kirana store's livelihood of directly and indirectly almost 50 to 70 million in this country. So obviously for government also this space is critical, and hence FDI is very strict in detail in India, because this Kirana goes a lot of livelihood and a lot of direct and indirect employment of people goes. People culture है कि आप कुछ नहीं हो रहा तो किराना तो चला ही लेंगे, and that is the first level of entrepreneurship people can imagine कि कुछ नहीं हो रहा है तो मैं at least हमारी society में the background from where I come, this is a first thought कि यार कुछ नहीं हो रहा है चलो एक grocery store खोल ले. So it's the first simplest entrepreneurship thing that you can start in this country. Like whether you are in urban India or rural India or semi-urban, everywhere you can do it. So hence government obviously saw the impact maybe, and it has a lot of impact in terms of our visibility. But our team was obviously very very excited. And जब हम tier 2 में कोई startup कर रहे होते हैं ना, तो यहाँ पे वो ओरा नहीं होता है. यहाँ पे लोगों को वैलिडेशन ऐसे इवेंट से मिलता है कि अच्छा हमारा कुछ ठीक ठाक ही कर रहे थे इसमें.
Right. And I can only imagine how big that moment must have been for you with the entire team. So, Deepak, you also spoke just about the plan and how the plan has been your boss. So, I just wanted to ask you, how has that worked for you according to the plan? आप ShopKirana को कहाँ ले जाना चाहते थे? Where is it now, and what is like your vision for the coming 3 to 5 years?
Okay, so in terms of size of this industry is very very large. Or in a company, we create value in life of 4 people broadly. So one is you create value for your investor. Is you create value for your customers. Lot of where suppliers they build value in this journey. And 4 of which is the center of gravity is your employees or the people who build the company. In a startup, the upside can be very very high. We had a different thought process. We had a thought process that we should always think of protecting the downside of our people, all 4 of them. So ShopKirana obviously had always had an excitement to build a very big company, but always protected the downside of, and hence as I know, a lot of our competitors came very aggressively and went back and was not able to protect the value they were giving to even a retailer. Like whatever range they were able to offer or service level they were offering, they were not able to continue. See, some people came into our industry and started delivering within 2 hours. But from this value we cannot deliver. This is not a sustainable value we can promise to our consumers. We stick to our delivery schedule of maybe 24 hours to us, but broadly we thought this is something we can deliver. We were always overexcited, but hence the second thought was very important for us always, that we should keep protecting the value that our employees have built for themselves, or investors have built for themselves in this journey. And whenever the headwind comes, we should always capture that as an extra. Especially the COVID is a big event, which has impacted everyone's cycle. In both of these cycles, we were able to really protect the promise for everyone, all the four stakeholders. Number two is whenever time permitted, we then again bounce back as a great company when the time became better. So we are short maybe by 2-3 years in our growth plan or our aspirations, not growth plans. But largely because of these two events, otherwise I think broadly things are on plan.
And can you give us a sense of scale by whatever metric you're comfortable with, that how many, for example, stores have been added to your network?
It's very simple. Like what ShopKirana is trying to build is a go-to-market supply chain together across all emerging tier 2 markets in India. Tier 2 is a big thesis on which ShopKirana is built. तो भी हमारा belief है और हमारी thesis है कि इंडिया का जो tier 2 है, which is broadly the cities with a million plus population, but not as large as 5 million plus population. So these are emerging markets where a lot of new urbanization is happening, whatever we have seen in countries like China, even in India in last 10 years, a lot of movement is happening towards tier 2. So we are targeting that any company 10 years down the line want to enter India and distribute their product across all tier 2 markets in India. So abhi India ka 30% contribution in retail come from tier 2. In next 10 to 15 years, it will be 50%. So we want to have a pre-ready digital database of all these tier 2 markets, followed by ready-to-use supply chain. Approximately 35 such cities with a million plus population. If we remove the top 5 cities with 5 million plus population, out of these 35 cities, we are already there in 15 cities. So our business is established. We have supply chain, data points, retailer engagement, onboarding done in 15 cities.
So in terms of revenues, would you be comfortable sharing, or is it public, or?
So I will tell you, revenue run rate for us is 10 million to 200 million as a range, as a revenue run rate for the year.
Okay, very nice. So since we spoke about a lot of success, but this success doesn't come so easily, and we know that, like in the beginning, you said that I'm not sure about the success, but yes, a lot of experience that you have gathered. So please speak to us about the top 3 challenges that comes to your mind now when you look back that you overcome.
So the first thing I would like to say, when you start from tier 2 and especially into an industry which is not trendy in nature. So that was the biggest challenge for people to really anticipate Kirana tech is at current. So it was a challenge of kind of creating and convincing people that tomorrow there will be an industry called B2B commerce in India, because to China 14 there was 0% B2B commerce in India, which is approximately now 2 to 3% in India retail is B2B commerce. So that was the biggest challenge for us to really put forward and start make people believe that there will be an industry called B2B commerce. And this we have to convince 3 people, as I told the value chain. So first thing is we have to convince a retailer that tomorrow he will be buying digitally, because he have never done it. So surprise ki मैं भी digitally order करूँगा क्या कर सकता हूँ क्या? And I don't believe this, because with so independent vendors order करता हूँ, उनके लोग आते हैं, उनसे बात करता हूँ. So how I can rely on a digital pricing, digital ordering, digital retail and all. Number two is we have to then convince brands that your go-to-market can be digital versus all these physical efforts that you are being generated. And that investment community that there is something called as an industry which will evolve. So thanks to obviously the early efforts by more people obviously joining hands with us. See, I would have if many people would not have joined, because until there is an industry, there cannot be a company.
Right.
तो इंडस्ट्री का बनना जरूरी है. सी उसके बाद उसमें कौन फेल होगा, कौन सक्सेस होगा, बट विदाउट इंडस्ट्री यू कैन नॉट क्रिएट अ कंपनी. सो बिल्ड having a thesis around industry and convincing people, and we are thankful कि बाकी लोग भी आए तो इंडस्ट्री क्रिएट हो गई. So that was the first challenge I think, and for any entrepreneur, industry नहीं है तो वो है ही नहीं. As an entrepreneur you cannot. Second thing is obviously when we started from a tier 2 which is Indore, and we always thought and look aspiration from a lot of companies in US who never shifted their headquarters, but they remained where they started from. People like Pepsi to people like P&G to people like Nike, wherever they have started from, they make their city big. थोड़ा अलग था, बट हमको लगा कि ये सही नहीं है कि हम सबको एक जगह जाके बनानी पड़ी. यूएस में कभी हुआ नहीं है. यूएस में अगर आप जाएंगे तो पीएनजी सिंसिनाटी से चलिए तो आज उसका हेडक्वार्टर सिंसिनाटी है, और सिंसिनाटी बदल गया पीएनजी के कारण. या फिर नाइकी में भी ऐसा ही है, कोक का भी ये सबका वैसा है. जो जहाँ पे था वो सिटी बहुत बड़ी होगी. तो वी हैड दैट एज अ बिलीव, but to convince people on that, especially our employees also, that and to attract people in tier 2 to get that kind of talent and build that mindset into tier 2 was another big challenge, because यहाँ पे बहुत ज़्यादा cultural नहीं था ये. तो to build that culture, to give that kind of, काफ़ी employees से आपको long term पे काम कराना पड़ता है startup में. You cannot immediately offer them what market is offering, but you do not understand startup value creation, wealth creation, impact building and all. But bringing people into that mindset was maybe the next big challenge for us, considering the background we were operating not. Yes, over a period of time, उसके advantage ये रही कि हमारा intention बहुत अच्छा हो गया. We were third challenge, I will say, this is an industry where the versus business controls are more important. So a lot of the competition did not fail because of they were not in business. They were not really a lot of controls in place. So they thought of business more than controls, because India is a country where bypass is a big phenomenon. So build that level of SOPs and technology where people cannot bypass your systems, because you are going to be large organization, and you should not only be excited about the front end and growth and all of that. A lot of failure into this space too. So I think building that system of such control and building that culture, we divided the company into two pieces. We said that the operating units should not think like startup. The business only think like startup. The operating unit we made like they are operating. So we brought people from Parle-G, we brought people from Godrej kind of companies, where the things are very stringent and very controlled. So ये सारे लोगों को हमने ऑपरेशन में डाला कि आप सारे क्रिप्टोस में काम करो. बिजनेस टीम में हम स्टार्टअप कल्चर भी लोग ज़्यादा लेके आए, and I think it paid off well.
Very interesting. Amazing.
Very interesting, and thank you for putting our city on the map, Deepak. Being an Indore, can say that's the reason.
I was actually gauging that connect. No, there are two connects actually more than other than ET alone. So you have one is the Indore, then you are also from SGS ITS, I think, and
it's also we share more in common. GS, I think.
Right.
PNG also. You also work for PNG.
I too.
And he also worked for PNG. So I think a lot of connect there. Yes, moving on.
So I think maybe Anupam and Deepak, in the interest of time, through a personal side, maybe we can touch upon. Deepak, we would love to know about personally your journey as an entrepreneur, right? And entrepreneurship requires a lot of sacrifices, a lot of investment. So just tell us a little bit about how has that journey been for you? Was there, what were like the sacrifices that you had to do at your personal front? And you spoke about corporate learnings, how you build a startup personally. What were the learnings for you?
I wanted to overutilize myself, and I thought in the corporate world I was not able to overutilize and do justice to my talent and I wanted to explore that part of me. Number two is obviously, as I come from a very humble rural background, I wanted to always have an assurity around like what is my worst case scenario. So I think very simple. I think my best scenario and worst case scenario. I always ensure कि मेरा worst case scenario safe enough लग रहा है तो फिर मैं bet लेता हूँ. After my engineering also, I started an education institute, and then I thought I should learn a lot of things, and then I went back to Cummins. Even during the days of PhD, I started mentoring another startup called Kirana. I still mentor this startup. They are also doing well. And period of time when my resume had listed on it SGS ITS, the gold medal, All India rank 1, I thought I had to save enough. This resume is my safety in when I feel that I have to take care of my family. So the people at the top college should be worried about how much jobs I can create so that these remaining 2,000 colleges can get the jobs. So top 5-7 colleges should have this mindset that because there are 2,000 more colleges, 10,000 more colleges where people are looking for a job. If the top 10 also look for a job and remaining 20,000 will never get a job. So I was always having that mindset. But personally, obviously, when I was in PNG, you have to have a lifestyle, because the only thing that I say that you have to compromise is the lifestyle. You should not have a regret around lifestyle, and if that is your priority, you should never do entrepreneurship. Other things will be taken care, which is your livelihood. It will never be in a problem after coming from this kind of colleges. If you have lifestyle as a very critical component in your mind that you will regret that you don't have lifestyle, then this entrepreneurship will always pinch you and you will always feel regret about. But good thing is that I never had that in me, that I have lifestyle as a priority for me. Lifestyle in the early days of shop. And obviously you don't get much time. So मेरे बाकी co-founder का वैसा नहीं था. But our period of time will be वैसे season हो गए. They are also now more excited about a lot of lifestyle things. They enjoy the work. They enjoy the simplicity in today.
I should add this thing, since I know you personally so well, that Deepak grows on you. When you are with him, he grows on you, and I think that is the same thing that has happened to your co-founders also. You have
मुझे गाली भी देते हैं कभी-कभी कि यार मतलब क्या ही चल रहा है लाइफ में, कुछ कर ही नहीं रहे. कभी sometimes you feel that यार वो सब कहाँ चल गया था इससे. But
yeah. So my follow-up question is linked to what you just narrated. Spoke about top 5% of the college. So you coming from DT, how your background coming from DT helped you in building ShopKirana, and what would be your message apart from what you just mentioned to the fellow DTians or alumni or budding entrepreneurs from these top tier colleges?
Obviously, I think DT teach you supply chain and operations very, and I think there is a background of DT. Any business which is a large scale distribution business, and see in India में तो suppose जो पेमेंट बिजनेस है वो भी डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन है, जो PM ने किया है, तो वो भी बहुत ज़्यादा डिजिटल गेम नहीं है. उसमें टेक्नोलॉजी अभी टॉम डिक एंड हैरी बना लेते हैं, वैसा हो गया टेक्नोलॉजी. सो ब्रॉडली डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन गेम भी स्केल है अपनी कंट्री में. तो यहाँ पे अगर आपको ब्रांड भी लॉन्च करना है तो डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन का गेम बहुत ही ज़्यादा है. दूसरा यहाँ पे revenue cannot be taken granted in India. So you have to build a lot of cost system in India. So there are broadly two type of entrepreneurs. One is सही एक आता है बोलता है कि ना मैं आपको इस लेवल का सर्विस या प्रोडक्ट दूंगा जो आपने लाइफ में बेच नहीं किया, वैसे मेरे हिसाब से लूँगा, which is kind of Apple kind of entrepreneurship. कि प्राइस मत पूछना, बट जो प्रोडक्ट सर्विस एक्सपीरियंस होगा वो नेक्स्ट जनरेशन होगा जो आपने अभी तक नहीं देखा है. दिस इज कॉल्ड the premiumization entrepreneurship. तो फॉर एग्जाम्पल टेस्ला भी वो उस टाइप का entrepreneurship है. जो प्रोडक्ट दूंगा वो फ्यूचर प्रोडक्ट दूंगा या फ्यूचर सर्विस दूंगा, चार्जेस मेरे होंगे. ठीक है, इट अप्लाइज टू मेनी entrepreneurs एक्चुअली. जैसे जो आपकी में भी है पीआर में, जो तनिष्क में है, मान लो पीआर में जो आपको दूंगा उस लेवल का सेफ्टी स्टैंडर्ड्स एंड गारंटी दूंगा, कोई नहीं दे रहा है, मैं अपना चार्जेस दूंगा. दैट्स अ डिफरेंट स्टोरी. द सेकंड kind of entrepreneurs are broad the cost disruptors. These are the people who say कि सर्विस वही होगा, मोटा मोटा प्रोडक्ट एक्सपीरियंस सिमिलर होगा, बट मैं सर्विस मैं कॉस्ट डिस्ट्रप्शन करूँगा एक्चुअली. This is an example of SpaceX. Elon Musk says there is the cost angle कि मैं 1/5 में आपको सेम काम करके दूँ. See, try to understand Elon Musk doing two things. Tesla and SpaceX, two different disruption. One is a service disruption and another is the cost disruption. बट इंडिया जो है ना, सर्विस डिस्ट्रप्शन मार्केट बहुत मुश्किल होता है. यहाँ पे आप प्रीमियम पे करवाना और लेना एक थोड़ा ज़्यादा कॉम्प्लेक्स है वर्सेस कॉस्ट डिस्ट्रप्शन. अगर आपका है तो नीति हेल्प मी टू डू लॉट ऑफ कॉस्ट डिस्ट्रप्शन इन लॉट ऑफ अदर. Obviously, both if come together, you will have a lot of advantage into your entire value creation that you bring on table. Niti don't teach you a lot of revenue things, and that may be one of the weakness that I bring on table of Kirana, and hence my other co-founder is to take care of that part. But the service, obviously, without Niti, I think that will be very tough journey.
So the message, in a one line, you have to give a message to these budding entrepreneurs or people who are listening from the corporate, sitting at the corporates. What would be your message to these top leaders?
If you can simplify that in your mind, not as much on the cost things, I will do the service value disruption. And that is an innovation that you have to bring. Then you have to bring a lot of superior services and all. Or you think that I will have both approaches. So DMart brings both approaches. They are very strict on cost, but the value that and the quality of assortment that they bring to consumer is also great. So I think both always are great. But if you are not able to identify your strength कि मैं बहुत ज़्यादा revenue turnaround वाला बंदा हूँ, तो फिर मैं cost disruption के ideas उठाता हूँ. Considering that as a background, you can take the entrepreneurship challenge.
Understood. Before we wrap up, and probably Rinku, you would have a last question to ask. I have one last question to ask you, Deepak. Tell us something interesting that you have not told anyone so far from your journey at ShopKirana or from your personal life, which you sort of comfortable sharing here.
मतलब so initial days of ShopKirana, my from a very different background, and just my working time to understand what I do and why I am working like this and why I wake up suddenly and start doing something was very tough for her to digest, because she comes from a very service class families and background where the things are standard, the time standard and a lot of it. And for us to really make her understand, then we thought, let you also work with me for some time to join me, and we put her into different projects into of space control and the common side considering her background. But over a period of time, then it was very easy for me to convince or make her understand every day why I am behaving like this in my personal life. It became a routine for her also that that's how it is. So it was very interesting for me to use case versus explaining her every day.
ये होता है निटी का माइंड. आई थिंक तुमने जो है प्रोसेस और स्ट्रैटेजी जो है पर्सनल लाइफ में लगा दिया है. एंड आई थिंक दिस विल बी अ मैसेज फॉर अ लॉट ऑफ पीपल अपार्ट फ्रॉम द जेंडर दैट बॉस देयर इज अ सॉल्यूशन टू दिस वर्ल्ड प्रॉब्लम.
So I think the only last question I have for you is, summing up everything together, how do you feel about this journey that you've taken as an entrepreneur, right? Every day can we safely say आप खुश हैं अपने काम पे जाते हुए, और there are some days where you think about what would have been the other side of life had you not done this and were, say, part of a corporate like P&G or any?
I think I always take a leap of faith on myself and take a jump into next orbit. So the corporate life was one orbit, and that I have taken escape velocity and jumped into a different orbit. So every electron suits jump to an orbit where its energy suits. But if we lose energy, we go back to the old orbit, and we can always do it. So, but I know that I am in the better orbit, or Lord, which is in sync with my energy and intellect. The kind of exposure and the kind of people you meet here, and kind of idea and kind of self-control you have in entrepreneurship is nothing which you can compare at all. Means I think it's 1 versus 99 versus 50-50 at all. So I can never imagine the kind of people I meet, talk, the kind of things we discuss, the kind of problem zone or size of the problems we will be thinking here. I say it's 1 versus 99 versus 50-50.
Well, that I think your thoughts do grow on us, like Anupam said. So I'm feeling very inspired.
Thank you, Deepak, for doing this.